Hey guys, what's good? I had a thought today, and it was about how I feel like so many products and concepts and goals and things that we have in this realm, in this human experience, are very linear, like they have beginnings and endings. Some examples that I was thinking of, like a planner. So a planner only has a certain number of pages. Once you finish it, you can buy another, or you'll just be done. Or a goal, once you start the goal, you finish it, you complete it, it's done. There's just lots of lines, I feel like, at least in my life. And it made me think about how I actually want to live a life that's more cyclical. And I noticed that in nature, like with the 4 seasons, especially with the moon cycles, with the rising and setting of the sun, things come and they go, but then they come back around. And especially with nature, let's say like transitioning from spring to summer, and things are growing and blooming, the trees are blossoming, the flowers are smelling good, beautiful colors, and then autumn comes and the leaves fall and the flowers have been gone, and winter comes and things are more barren. But then spring comes back around and nature flourishes again, but not in the exact same way. Like if I'm looking, so there's a tree outside my window. If this tree, when it loses all its leaves, if I were to capture how it looks at this exact moment, this time next year, it'll be bloomed again, it'll have its leaves back, but will it look exactly the same? No, it probably would have grown bigger. Or maybe it had a harsh winter and it lost some branches. Some things died and had to fall away, so maybe it'll look smaller. But the point is, it still comes back. And it makes me think of how much less pressure and how much more simple that way of viewing life and living is when we think of everything as a cycle. So there isn't like this harsh, strict end goal, like, okay, I have to do this and become this and this by this time, or my life is over, or I won't be successful. What if we saw it as more like, I'm working on this, I'm trying to be this, or maybe I'm just in a season of being, just flowing, knowing that opportunities to go in other directions, have other adventures, be accomplished in certain ways will come around again. And there's no need for me to force something or rush something thinking that I'm running out of time, because first of all, there is really no time in the concept of start date, end date. It's just a circle. If you think about it in this way, if you wanted to think about it in this way, we technically are living the same day over and over and over again. Like if you remove your clock, remove your phone, remove people's opinions, and just went out and lived somewhere, maybe by yourself with a few friends, your family, and you had to just live according to the seasons, you would wake up with the sun, you would go to bed with the sunset, the moon would come out, regardless if you saw it or not, the moon is there, right? You would go to sleep, you would wake up and experience the same thing over again. Any differentiation that we have in our days is really just how we spend them, what we decide to do, but the cycles of nature repeat over and over and over again. They don't change. And even in seasons where there is change, the change is constant. You're always going to have 4 seasons. Even if you don't experience the contrast of those seasons where you live, there's still 4 seasons. And that repeats itself. So the same day is lived over and over again. You get the same 24 hours. You get the same opportunities to thrive. It comes around again and again and again. So if we saw life as one big day, just one eternal day, which it is, right? Because if you believe in heaven or hell or the end of the world, if you believe in the Bible, then you would know that eventually, when this realm fades, another realm, the eternal realm, will come into play. Well, it's already here, but at least we'll be able to see it, and who knows what life will truly be like, but it'll be for all of time. There is no end and then nothing. It's just transition into another season, another dimension, another world, whatever that may be. And I want to live life more with that type of mindset. I want to live life more so in the way of, I don't need to force myself onto something or onto someone. I don't need to hurry up. I don't need to abide by the rules and laws of a few people on social media or a society. My advice, my guidance comes from my Creator and what He says to do, because He made me and He made you. So honestly, He's the only one who really knows what's going on and what's best for us. And that's just such a beautiful and freeing way, in my opinion, to live. Because you always get another chance. And there's no right or wrong way. It's just another chance, another opportunity. And how beautiful would it be if you realized you had all of eternity to just be yourself, knowing that at some point in that, I can't even say in that space of eternity or realm or time of eternity, because it's timeless, but in that function of everlasting life, at some point you're going to remember who you are. You're going to return to love. You're going to know what you need to know. And then you're just going to ride that out forever, coming up with more beautiful ways to live and have fun and relax and be at peace and create. Like, wow. And maybe part of this human experience and coming into this dimension, in this particular world where we, in a way, live in a sort of confinement, is to realize these things so that we don't have to spend an eternity trying to figure it out. Maybe the social construct viewpoint that we view time in some ways can be a blessing, because even though I don't believe in hurrying, I guess if you feel as if you only have 80, 90, 70 years to get it together, then maybe at some point it'll click, and then you can just spend the rest of your life, or spend all of your life, all of eternity, just being, not striving, not hustling, just being exactly and everything that God created you to be and do. And He's so infinite and so vast, God is, that I don't think there's an end to our purpose. Like, when you think of God, do you think of an end point? No. And being His creations, I don't feel as if we have an end point in the sense of like, hey, you're here to just do this, and once that's done, we'll just blip you out of existence. Like, no. It is a choice, though. You do have to choose life. You can choose death if you want to. But life is your inheritance. That is what you were made for. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful if we would just perceive it that way and not give in to this illusion of lack, this illusion that we don't have what we need or who we need. We have everything. We have everything. We don't need to attach ourselves to things or people or be upset when things don't go our way, or at least what we perceive to be our way, or people don't love us in the way that we think we should. Like, no. There is no attachment, or there should be no attachment to a particular way of being or doing things, because we're just one big family. We are all one. No matter who you are, your origin began with God. Everything, even the illusions of evil or bad things that people do in this world, if you strip it away and you keep going back and back and back, the people who made these decisions, we go back to their ancestors and their ancestors and their ancestors, everything began with God. And our fears, our giving into hardship and struggling is really just our lack of awareness of the perfection that this world still is. We've created our own parallel universe where there is war and pain and suffering. And I'm not saying these things don't exist, because they do to you. But in the world of what is really real, that world still stands. In the beginning, God created, and then He said it was good, and it never stopped being good. We just stopped perceiving the good and started to create what we perceive as bad. So those are just some thoughts that I've been having for a while, and it's nice to put them into words and share them. It's very healing for me to do that as well, because there was a time when I kept all my thoughts about topics like this to myself, and the courage that I now have to share them and not feel fear about what others may think or feel like I need to be validated is so freeing to me, because it just shows the work that I've done on myself and ultimately that God has worked through me. And I'm grateful. And I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Bye.